Welcome to Making Video Games with Python, Lesson 26. In this video, we're going to cover the various collisions that happen in Level 2, which is mainly between the alien, the hero, and the boss. So let's get to it. Alright, so the first thing to know, we're going to start off with the aliens. So let's uncomment this section. Is that the aliens behave pretty much like the asteroids. So let's look at what we accomplished with the asteroids. So we had an if statement that checked to see if the hero collided with the asteroids, and if the hero did, it lost some health, and then the asteroids went away. If you're kind of curious as to what's going to happen with the explosion, that's in the next video. Alright, so let's update our code a little bit because this is not an asteroid. We're dealing with aliens in this particular level. And this game got scored, that was because of the progress bar that we had in level 1 in order to get out of level 1. So we're going to take that out, and we're going to update this. Okay, awesome. So at this point, we have an if statement that will make the hero take damage or lose health when the aliens collide with the hero, and also will make the alien go away. Now, the new thing that was introduced in level 2 was the idea of shooting. So we also have to have an if statement for when the bullet collides with the aliens. So obviously the first thing we're going to make it do is that, if we shot the alien's going to go away. But the other thing that we have to kind of think about is that when the bullet shoots the alien, you kind of think of the bullet being used up. So that means we should make the bullet disappear because it got used up. So we're going to take this little piece of code and put it here. Now what this also does is that it allows us to shoot again after we shot a particular alien. One interesting side effect to this, if we don't make the bullet disappear, then it's going to become like a super bullet because it's going to stay on the screen and it's going to keep colliding with any other alien that's in its path. So again, you could kind of think of this as a feature you might want to have where the player can pick up a power up where it just makes the bullet just fly through everything, just killing everything in its path. And that way, the only way you'll get a chance to shoot again is if the bullet crosses the top of the screen. All right, so let's test this out. And let's see how it goes. All right, so this is level 1. We're going to get out of level 1. And the first thing I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to shoot. And there it is. We're shooting, and now let me go ahead and collide. And if you notice the little green bar, the green bar is reducing, letting us know that we are losing health. Let me shoot this one if I can. Oops, no, I can't shoot anymore because I've lost ammo. All right, so let's handle the other key player in level 1, which is the boss. So let's do this one first. So if the hero collides with the boss, not a good thing. We're going to consider this an instant death. Whereas with most other things, the hero will simply lose some health. We're going to say, nope, hero dies instantly. And this should be collided with. So you might be tempted to put a game.over here. Game.over equals true, kind of signifying that the game's over because the hero's dead. But I'm going to take a different approach. I'm going to say hero.health is 0. So we're going to instantly set the hero's health to 0. Now this accomplishes the same thing as setting game over equal to true. But I like this because it kind of feels more like we're dealing with the hero. The fact that the hero lost all his health. Now it's going to accomplish the same thing because if you look at our condition here, we only play level 2 as long as the game is not over and the hero has some health. Well, once we set it to 0, guess what? This side of the AND statement becomes false, ending level 2. Now, before we... Actually, let's do it here. So the other key player here with the boss is also the bullet. So bullet dot collide it with boss. Now, this is similar to what's happening between the aliens and the asteroids and the hero in that the boss will now lose some health. So let's do that. Boss.health minus equals, let's say 5. And we're also going to do this little piece of code. Because again, once the bullet gets used up because it shot the boss, we should be able to shoot again. So we're adding that little piece. Now, same thing like we did with the hero health, the hero ammo. We need something visual on the screen to be able to let the player know, okay, this is how much damage the boss is taking. So we're going to scroll back up. And let's do a little copy and paste of this health bar. And let's give it to the boss. Except we have to give it a new name because obviously they can't share the same bar. So we'll call this boss bar. And this should be the boss's health. And we'll leave it as green. All right, so now the boss has a bar. But if you recall with the health bar, and for this I'm going to go up to the hero update. There's two things that need to happen. First, we got to move the bar to an appropriate spot on the screen. And we also have to resize the bar. All right, so we're going to do that because the boss doesn't have a boss update. We're just going to do it directly in the game loop. So where's the boss? The boss is being drawn right here. All right, so let's do boss dot boss bar dot width is equal to boss dot health. Now we're going to do a direct correlation between the width and the health because of the fact that the boss is so big. The next thing we need to do is we actually have to draw the boss bar. Let's do that. And then we have to position it. So obviously, I mean, we could have positioned it before we drew it. It's up to you. So we're going to start off with the obvious answer of bossbar.x is equal to boss.x. And then bossbar.y is equal to boss.y. All right, so this is literally putting the bar for the boss's health right smack in the middle of the boss. Now, hopefully, intuitively, you kind of think of, that's not really what we want, but I want you to visually see that. So again, when we run this, we're looking for a couple things. We're looking for the presence of the boss bar, and we're looking to see what happens when we shoot the boss, and then when we collide with the boss. So that's what we're testing on this go around. All right, so let's get out of level 1, and I'm gonna wait a little bit just to see the bar. All right, so you can see there, the bar smack in the middle of the boss. It's not something we want. And at this point, honestly, we can't even see if we're doing damage, and I've ran out of ammo. So let me put myself in a spot where I can kind of survive. All right, so ideally what we would want to have is the bar to be at the bottom of the image. Now, there's a reason I say that. So let's go back to our code. And let's do this. We'll say bottom. So what does bottom represent? It's another variable that's available to all images in animation. And simply what it does is that it adjusts, well, it has a value that is relative to the center of the image, plus whatever else you need to get to the bottom. So it's half of the height. So that's what this is. Now, similarly, I don't know if you kind of noticed the bar was in the middle, but it kind of grew to the right. So what we're going to do is we're going to shift the bar, this boss bar, to the left by simply half of its width. So we're going to say boss bar dot width divided by 2. Now again, if this feels a little uncomfortable, I would suggest, give these variables some numbers and do the math behind it. But I think at this point you'll appreciate once you see it what it does. All right, so let me put myself in a spot. So notice first thing that the bar is at the bottom of the image. So again, that variable is very useful. And the adjustment of, trying to not die here, of the bar. So now I'm going to shoot. And notice how by subtracting half of its width, And I'm going to die here, also testing out that this particular if statement. But I want to go back to the bar. By subtracting half of its width, when the bar grows, the x position of the bar gets adjusted. Again, play around with this a little bit and you'll see. All right, so I think we're ready to go back to our presentation. So in this video, we got a chance to work with Collide It With through our various objects in level 2, and again, very similar logic that we had to apply. We also integrated the concept of shooting, so the bullet now became another key player in level 2 in terms of the collisions. We saw that we had to reuse that bullet visible equals false, so we could shoot again, but as mentioned in the video, we can make a super bullet by not doing that. We played around a little bit with the boss's health bar, and we got a chance to explore some other variables that we can use, such as the dot bottom, which represents the bottom of the image. We also did a little bit of math in order to make the boss's bar pop up in the center and stay in the center the whole time. So hopefully you're excited about finishing Delta Fighter, and enjoy.